All right, let's see if we get some screenshot here. Somebody see me, I see me, something. Let's see. Come on, computer. All right. Usually you guys beat my screen. Here comes my screen. All right, I can see me. Can y'all see me? Jacob says 5 by 5. What do you know? Back to the old reigning champ. All right, how's everybody doing tonight besides cold? I know it's 37 right now here. It's actually about the warmest part of our day. Believe it or not, I actually finally finished putting my gardens to bed today. I got up the trellises for next year after everything's moved around, so came in a little bit with blue fingers, but that's done. So, all right. Glad everybody could make it today. Constantine finally made it to a live chat, though it's 4 o'clock in the morning in Russia. So, for all of y'all that hear me talk about Constantine all the time, he's actually here. That's inside Russia. So, actually go check out his channel because it's a lot of fun to watch, especially when he's walking around the city and stuff like that, just showing you different things that some I've seen, some I haven't, but just to get that idea. But all right. Well, let's get into the fun parts of tonight. I'm actually going to start out with some good news for you guys, believe it or not. The communist from Cornell, Saleh Amarova, her nomination for a comptroller of the currency has been rescinded. I guess there has been way too much public pressure on having a communist running our money. So Biden pulled her nomination late this afternoon. So good news. What do you know? Maybe we won't be going too crazy here with the finances. And then to make it even better, Janet Yellen, okay, we all know who she is, has now come up and said that Trump was right, that maybe nationalistic policies in regards to our economy are actually pretty good, because she's finally said globalism is not going to solve our supply chain problems, that we need to have more of a nationalistic manufacturing base. No shit, Sherlock. We've been telling you this for years, okay? All this made in China crap isn't doing anybody any good. Let's put the people to work here. Let's have the stuff shipped from one side of the country to the other, not one side of the world to the other. And we can all agree that the quality of stuff made here is a lot better than the quality of crap made in China. So, thought I'd share that one to you. So we'll see how that one plays out. But, good news that maybe we can bring some jobs back here to us and, stop spending all the money building up the Chinese military. Just a thought. On the idiocity meter for the day, which we've always got to have something like this, Lori Lightfoot, our illustrious mayor of Chicago, if you will, she came out today and said, well, with the exception of murders, crime is down in Chicago. Until somebody actually went and fact-checked her and said, now burglaries are up and sexual assaults are up and robberies are up and everything like that. Maybe parking tickets are down. Who knows? But that's probably just because nobody go to work anyway. But this is how desperate the left is to getting... to try. They've now got to the point of making up good news because there isn't any to report under their leadership. Okay. So Lightfoot got called out rather quickly going, can you please tell us what crime is down? Because this is up and this is up and this is up and this is up and yada, yada, yada. And again, all I can say is, thank God I don't live in Chicago anymore. And then, of course, everybody's favorite bonehead, AOC, says the only reason that the United States made it through the last 2 years during the pandemic is because of illegal aliens, that, all the illegals were the ones that did all the jobs while we all just sat at home collecting our stimmy checks. And therefore, we have an obligation to repay them by giving them citizenship. I hate insulting a box of rocks, but I can't think of what else she's dumber than. So that was it. And then, of course, if you saw the last one this afternoon where CNN was coming out and saying that the Biden administration is tired of hearing about all the bad news on the economy and the way they're mismanaging everything. So the Biden administration is now giving talking points to CNN to tell them what good things to talk about the economy. Because not like CNN has ever reported anything factual anyway. So hey, why not just be the propaganda arm for the Biden administration? Just, you can't make this stuff up. I kid you not. Okay. All right. So love to see Constantine in here today because maybe he can kind of give us. I'd love to see a video from you, buddy, on the thoughts from today's meeting between the chess grandmaster and the playground coward here. But yeah, from the one thing I want to say about this, and somebody had emailed, I think it was Lauren actually emailed to me today. Guys, I'll say this again. All right. Be careful what information you get. Go try to verify it. People are talking about, oh, we're at DEFCON 2 and all this sort of stuff. No, we are not. Okay. And even if we were, you and I would never know it. So any of these people that are breaking news, emergency, you must know this, blah, blah, blah. We're at DEFCON 2. World War III is here. All right. That's what the unsubscribe button for is. We don't need the fear porn. Some of this stuff is just way too crazy. But like I said, DEFCON numbers are never released to the public. We went through this 6 months ago. People can make it up whatever they want. Oh, there's a website that says this. Great. There's websites that, say Martians have landed too. It doesn't make it true. I could, in 30 seconds, I could find God knows how much BS that is out there on the internet. Doesn't make it true. Like I just said, Lori Lightfoot and crime doesn't make, just because somebody says it doesn't make it true. But guys, please don't listen to these fear mongers that are telling you that World War III is inevitable. It is not. Okay. And I'm going to give you this. I did the video today on what the conversation between Putin and Biden was probably going to be about, and looking at what I can get on stories that have come out either from the Russian media or from other world media, because God knows the US media hasn't put anything out. Pretty much what I said was exactly what was talked about. And like I made the comment, Putin doesn't want NATO in Ukraine. He wants a buffer zone between NATO and Russia. Okay, talked about that at one point. And I know some people said, well, if Russia goes through and invades Ukraine, wouldn't that put them right on the doorstep of NATO? Yeah, and that's probably the exact reason why that's not going to happen, okay? We can talk about Donetsk, we can talk about Lugansk, and, those portions of far eastern Ukraine that want to be part of Russia. If anything happens, my guess is that would be as far as anything went. And that's a huge if, okay? The people want to go be part of Russia. Just like I said in the video today, the people in Eastern Washington want to be part of Ohio. Yeah, there you go. Geography. Want to be part of Idaho. The people don't always get what they want. But guys, please, all this crap about World War III is, starting tomorrow and everything like that. Just ignore it, okay? It's just, like I've said before, many people who try to sensationalize crap, they're just trying to get clicks and all this. It's not based in reality. And I'm not going to try to diss anybody about it. I just want y'all to take a step back and look at it. If World War III was going to start tomorrow, you're not going to hear about it on YouTube. Okay. I'm just going to say that. It will be plastered all over everywhere. Your TV, your radio, your internet. YouTube is not going to be the one to break the news on World War III. I promise you that. Okay. So, all right. So let's get into the normal of the night. Greetings to all my moderators. Thank you all for coming again. Lucky Dame, Lorna, Robert, Jacob, and North Shore. Glad you guys can take another hour out of your lives and help out keep all the riffraff down here. So, all right, for those of you who are new, and I have seen some new names in there that I don't recognize, I'll kind of explain to you what we do here on Tuesdays and Saturdays. This is your chance to drive the conversation. Okay. What you guys want to talk about rather than just listen to what I want to talk about. Yeah, you get my 10-minute monologue here. But your chance to ask me questions or ask each other questions. This is a great family, a great community that everybody in here is very, very helpful to each other in more ways than one. You can't imagine. If you want to ask me a question, do me a favor, please put it in all caps. I've got the laptop sitting right below me here so I can see the chat, so I can follow up with it and answer your questions. Because of, I've even got slow mode on, and as fast as everything goes through here, it's hard to keep up. So I'm just looking for letters in all, or comments in all caps. If you have conversations with each other, which I totally encourage, okay, because I don't have all the answers, put those in lowercase, and you guys chat amongst yourselves, stuff like that. Somebody, if I don't have the answer, somebody else might. That's one of the things I'm saying. Somebody else guaranteed will, with the amount of people that we usually have in here. So please do it that way. However, we do keep everything PG-13 in here. As I say all the time, your 6-year-old probably doesn't need to be here because sometimes my language will get a little salty. But it's nothing your 13, 14-year-old hasn't heard before or probably uttered out of his own mouth. I ask you, please stay away from the FJB comments. Please stay away from anything talking about our buddy here. And please stay away from anything talking about, as I put it, the weather, because those are topics that YouTube likes to shut channels down over. And so I'm just trying to stay out of trouble. I don't need any help getting into it. I do a good job on my own. So, all right. As we have 924 of you guys in here and one of me, like I said, everybody each week, if I get behind on answering questions, I usually do. If you haven't heard your question answered, I'm not skipping you, unless, of course, you've asked about one of the topics I just mentioned. I am just behind. So feel free to ask it again if you think I missed it. If I see it a second time, I'll skip over it the second time. No harm, no foul. No worry about there. So, all right. That being said, let's get into this here. I don't want to waste any more time with the let's get ready to rumble, stand here with a microphone, rules. Okay. No hits below the belt, whatever. And let's see what you guys all want to talk about. We'll go from there. So, getting into it. Ace Maduro, I call Lightfoot Beetlejuice. She looks like a character from that movie. I couldn't think of it as I was talking about there. Yeah, that's pretty much the common topic all the time. All right, so Constant Scene says, I'm actually sitting down going through the results, trying to script the video. Amazing. The Russians are painting a different picture from CNN. Well, of course the Russians are painting a different picture from CNN. They're probably painting the one that's the truth. Because CNN, like I just said, they are now being given, the White House is now telling CNN how to report stuff, okay, which is like journalism 101. No. So, yeah, it'd be interesting, though. I'd love to hear what you're finding, because obviously what I'm finding in the Russian press is what's in the Russian English press, and so what you're finding in the Russian press is probably a little different. SH, a penny for your thoughts on global impact of the Evergrande default. It's going to be, it's going to be nothing like Lehman Brothers. Okay, it's not going to be that kind of disaster. We're not going to get into the mortgage crisis here that we did in 2008, 2009, the financial crisis because of the mortgage industry. You may see some of that in China, which will affect us here, not necessarily in the the mortgage industry, but you will see it in the banking industry, in the investment world, and you could see it in Walmart, anything that you're buying here. It will affect the world economy. There's no question. It's not going to be big enough to put us into another 2008, 2009 worldwide recession again. But it ain't going to be pretty. Warner says, for the record, I emailed Pinball because I did not believe the BS about DEF CON. Well, you're right, because it is BS, like I said. Okay, let's see. NNYLRAC. It's got to be a great acronym for something. I just don't know what. Federal contractor mandate stopped today. Yeah, saw that. The stay was put on it last week, and the courts said that they cannot, that the Biden administration cannot mandate federal contractors to get vaccinated. The only thing that still leaves out that we don't know about are federal employees and the military. The problem with this is, guys, is in between Biden running his mouth and in between the court telling him to put a sock in it, how many people were scared and said, crap, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to anyway? That's the problem. And that seems to be the running idea for the Biden administration and everything. We'll do what's illegal until they stop us. As the old joke goes, nothing's illegal till you get caught. Go back and think about the rent moratorium. The Supreme Court said it wasn't legal. Biden did it again anyway, even though he was already told it wasn't legal. And by the time it worked its way through the court, he got a couple more months of letting people freeload. Doing the same thing here. And damn well they knew it, because it was, we'll tell everybody. The companies of course, will panic because they don't want to lose their federal contracts. So they'll tell their employees to do it. And even if we get 75% of the employees who were against it in the first place to do it until we're told illegal, that's 75% more people we have. That's exactly what was going on. And I said this 6 months ago, that everything was going to be done on fear. That was it. That's how they are ruling. Okay. This is like a dictatorship. They run on people's fears, afraid of losing their job. I don't know if you saw the story about the guy in Germany today who killed his wife, his kids, and himself because they were so adamantly anti that he tried to fake a passport, and his wife's passport, and his work caught her. So rather than get arrested and possibly lose the kids, he killed his family. That's how bad this is getting, guys. That's how crazy this is. So, just something to think about. Inside Russia, they were actually joking to each other at the meeting. Yeah, it probably had to start out that Biden couldn't figure out how to take his microphone off on mute. When the guy is so incompetent, he can't figure out how to use a conference call. I could just see Putin there going, oh my God, is this guy a moron? But we selected him. Treasure Seekers SOJ. I want to thank all those who were in Hawaii in 1942. We will never forget their sacrifice. Yes, it is Pearl Harbor Day. I won't say happy Pearl Harbor Day because that's certainly not a happy moment. Lorna sent me a nice story this morning about somebody whose remains were finally identified 80 years later, and he's getting a burial today. I think it was today. I think it was Houston, somewhere down in Texas. That was kind of cool. But then, of course, if you saw on the other side of the fence, you had all these idiot protesters in New York today who, shut down New York. They were going to block all the streets and everything. They prevented a bunch of World War II vets from going to the World War II memorial to pay their respects. So, yeah, there's your liberals in action, pieces of shit they are. Uh, East Tennessee preparedness. Did you see where the EU was wanting to suspend the Nuremberg Agreement to mandate the Japanese? Yes. Uh, you think they'd learn. Okay. The funny part is that this is Germany spearheading this idea. You know, Germany, you're the last ones, even 75 years later, to even suggest suspending the Nuremberg Code. Just, I mentioned this morning, yesterday, one of the two. What is it? Austria, Italy, Germany, Slovakia, the Czech Republic, was it Luxembourg? There's 8 or 9 different countries in the EU right now that have some sort of ridiculous fine or ridiculous restrictions on people, both vaxxed and unvaxxed. I know I talked to you guys about Canada and New Brunswick, where you can't go to the grocery store. I guess across Canada, you can't use public transportation. We've got the comments coming out of Washington here in the States that you have some of the politicians trying to say you can't fly. It's, this has got to, Europe, Australia's fallen. Europe is damn close to falling. Okay. They're just going to wind up totalitarian, authoritarian states, and that's it. And like we talked about a year ago, this is feudalism all over again, and we are just a bunch of plebes. And it doesn't make a lick of difference what you believe, whatever it is, you're going to do whatever you're told, and that's it. And people aren't wired that way, and Americans don't have it in their DNA to do that. Okay. Hell, this country was built by a bunch of rebels. Sure as hell ain't going to take, a cackling hen and a senile old man and go, yes, whatever you say. Just duh. Rooster, Pinball, what do you think on what David said on Adapt 2030 that we'll be seeing things in January? I have not seen what David's put up here in probably a week. I've been trying to, when the weather was nice, trying to get stuff done outside. So literally, I have done very little YouTube perusing here lately. So, trying to keep up with what's going on in the world, I've had very little time to watch anybody's videos. Pamela Fury, question: pinball prepping wine, can it be stored in the fridge? Sure, doesn't have to be. If you like it cold, keep it cold, not a problem. I just keep mine on the shelf and it sits fine. But if you want it cold, make it cold. Deborah, thank you for the super chat. Just saw that go by. Appreciate it. Aaron James, was Amazon hacked today? All I know, okay, AWS web servers went down, so it wasn't just Amazon. It was any company that runs AWS, and I'm not going to get into IT with you guys and stuff like that, but it's their web services. And I guess it was down for about 5 hours. Whether it was a hack, whether it was a problem, I don't know. But it wasn't just Amazon. Netflix was down. There was a whole litany of companies that were down worldwide because of it. I can't speculate and say it was a hack. I can't say it wasn't, somebody tripped over a wire on the server farm. Who knows? Inevitably we'll hear something out of a Jerry Nadler or Adam Schiff, or whatever it goes, oh, it must have been the Russians, because everything's the Russians for those guys. But, so far there is no news on as of why. Dan, thank you for the super chat. Or a super sticker. I love it. Mender Mom, did I run across a reason for the AWS outage? No, like I just said, no, I haven't seen why as of yet. Inevitably, that'll come out in the next couple of days. Cindy Rice, and you are spot on with this one. Scary thing is we don't know who to believe any longer. You are 100% absolutely true in making that statement. I've said many times on here, the American media would make Pravda from the Soviet Union jealous. Okay. And I don't care who you're talking about. This could be CNN, MSNBC, Fox, OANN, you pick one. Okay. Nothing is news anymore. It is 24/7 spin. And I would say probably 90% of the stuff that I tell you guys about, I have to find on foreign media and then verify it somewhere else. Even if I find a story in the US press that I think is important, I have to verify it somewhere else because there's so many stories that I find in the US press that don't pan out. And I'll go back a couple of days later and go, I'm glad I didn't say anything because that wasn't true, you know. And what is considered journalism these days is writing 2 sentences, attaching 5 tweets to it, and putting your byline on it, and that's journalism. That's just insane. So, yeah, I agree with you when you don't know who to believe any longer. And like I've said, anything that anybody says, go do your own research, go double check it. Go double check what I say. I'm not questioning that whatsoever, okay? And I'm not going to say I'm right 100% of the time. I do my damnedest to make sure that I don't give you guys any bullshit information, but things will slip through and things can get lost in the translation. People have missed things I've said in a video, questioned me on it, and I'm like, no, I talked about that, or whatever it would be. And I do make mistakes. I'm human, okay? And I will apologize for any mistake I made. I'm not trying to give you guys bad information. I do not want to be a sensationalist channel. I don't care about the clicks and everything like that. I care about the community. That's the importance here. Jen Boyles, any connection to the meeting and Amazon going down? That maybe, who knows? I mean, that seems to be somewhat of a stretch, but who knows? Rob S. Okay, good question. Pinball, what do you think of Dr. Oz running for the U.S. Senate? He's running in Pennsylvania as a Republican. Okay, this guy went to the Dr. Fauci School of Medicine. Oz is a fraud, okay? Go look up any articles on him and you will see the guy is a quack. When your claim to fame is Oprah discovered you as a doctor, really, I'm hoping that I have something more going for me in my life than I was discovered by Oprah. I don't care that he's running as a Republican. All right, it doesn't matter. They can run as whatever they want, but this guy's a complete quack. I mean, if it was him running against, I don't know who the hell's running for Congress, or I guess the Senate, and was it Pat Toomey's seat? Who the Democrats running against him. I'd write Mickey Mouse in. There's no way in the world I could vote for this guy. I mean, he's the walking definition of rhino, if he is even a Republican. Go look at some of the things he's said, about not eating breakfast or anything. The guy's he's not there, and he's a quack. That's the only way. He's the guy that you think, the snake oil salesman. That's Oz. Sue me. I don't care. You're a public figure. I can say whatever the hell I want about you. Leslie Yahoo. Why did the U.S. government ask civilian manufacturers to make products according to military specs? The only thing that I came up with was that I was talking about today. And from my understanding, it's not just clothing. It's a lot of anything. And please, understand that to meet military specs, it's a lot different than the clothing that you buy, okay? Or the belt that you buy, or whatever would be the canteen, or I mean, think of it, it's not like you're buying a tank. Uh, the 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 quality controls they have to meet are completely different. And so what the government is trying to do, I think, is avoid that refitting or retrofitting just in case they need the civilian manufacturers to ramp up production of military equipment, i.e., like what happened in World War II. Like I said, General Motors all of a sudden making airplane engines. Uh, now they can go, great, you know what? Pick something. I don't know. Levi's, great. Levi's jeans are meet military specs. So instead of dyeing them blue, we're going to dye them green, and we don't have to change anything else other than the dye. I think it is just a money saving, time saving thing, but I find the timing of it to be very interesting, because why would they be bringing something like that to the forefront now? You think that would be something that, if you don't want anybody to bat an eye about, you talk about that when it's, world peace going on or whatever, not when you've got three different hot spots around the world that people are worried about, and who knows what's going to happen in any of them at any given moment. So it's enough to raise my antenna going, what are they thinking here? Because of course they aren't telling us, but it now you start trying to put puzzle pieces together. Bill Bradley, who's behind all these cyber attacks? The CIA? Yeah, that's a great conspiracy theory, that the CIA is behind all this sort of stuff. Sure, a lot of conspiracy theories come true. I don't know. I have a tendency to think it's a lot more of these groups like Anonymous or whatever, hacker groups from wherever, that aren't affiliated with any governments or anything like that. It's all about money and prestige in the hacker community. Oh, I got into Macy's. Well, big deal. I took out Bank of America. Big deal. I got $6 million worth of Bitcoin for taking out this grocery store chain or whatever it is. I mean, I think that's more of what it is. I see all this, and maybe I'd say it's a 1 in 4 chance it's political. I think 3 in 4 chance it's bragging rights and money. Lily B, why did we go to DEFCON 3? Okay, so how's your job in the Pentagon? Please tell me. And did you just lose your security clearance for typing that? Because no civilian anywhere knows what DEFCON level we're at. Period. The end. Like I said at the top, there's whoever told you we are in DEFCON 3 is full of shit. Okay? Nobody knows that. That is one of the most highly guarded secrets in the Pentagon as to what our current defense condition is. Anything you see online about what our DEFCON level is complete bullshit. Thomas Sickler, Biden wanting to take control of Ukraine is because they're trying to cover up their crimes. Oh, yeah, guaranteed that's why he's in there, covering up anything from Burisma and Hunter Biden, all that crap. That the Ukrainians have something over Biden's head. That. And they're like, either you do this or we're showing this. There's no question in my mind that there's extortion going on in regards to that. And we're the ones that pay for it. Here comes the scroll at the bottom. Back to the top we go. Okay. Daily Prepper says, hey, from Arizona. Rob S. Pinball. No, I already saw that one. What do I think about Dr. Oz? Okay. Deborah Flowers, what do I think the next Biden move will be? I wish the next Biden move would be back to Delaware, personally. But then we get the cackling hen, and that wouldn't be what I want. I'm guessing you're probably saying in regards to our friend here. I don't know. He's run out of things to do. the only my guess is that he takes a page out of the Obama playbook. And remember, when either you have health insurance or you're going to get penalized in your taxes, my guess is once he can't do all this mandate, that's how he's going to try to do it next. And that'll go up to the Supreme Court and everything like that. And then they'll have to determine whether it's a tax or not. SH, thank you for the super chat. So, the more interesting one is going to see what happens with, de Blasio and his mandate that all privately held companies have to have their employees done, which obviously is violating the federal law. But, when's the law ever stopped a Democrat from doing anything? The thing that kills me is de Blasio thinks he's going to run for governor. Okay, I'm sorry, you've got a bunch of morons running for governor in New York as is, but there's no way in the world de Blasio is getting elected governor. I mean, you think Cuomo was bad? I mean, the AOC's got a better chance of getting elected governor in New York than de Blasio does. Daily Prepper, I'm sure it was Trump's fault. Of course, everything is. I mean, hell, for 8 years it was all Bush's fault. Then of course, now it's all Trump's fault. And it will be until Biden's no longer in office. Wow, a bunch of people talking. Okay. Jim Wyatt, have I heard the Pope is dying? No, I haven't. Not that I'm going to wish death on anybody, but this Pope has got to be one of the biggest catastrophes as a Pope ever. He's supposed to be a religious leader, not a politician. I'm not Catholic, first off, but listening to him try to dictate foreign policy for countries, no, I don't want to hear about how, the United States, morally has to let people cross the southern border when there's a wall around the Vatican, okay? And it ain't to keep people in. So, both sides of the mouth. Treasure Seekers SOJ, journalism is all opinion in the USA. That's what I'm saying. I mean, there isn't news anymore. It's like, skip over the front page, go straight to the editorial section because there is no news anymore. Cindy Rice, I triple check everyone, but I do trust you. I try. Please, you're not hurting my feelings. Please check me. And if you find something that I screwed up on, call me out on it. I'm more than happy to admit when I'm wrong. Okay. That's the one thing that I do not want to do ever is give you guys bad information. If I do, I apologize and I will do what I can to correct it. Nomad Prepper, a lot of propaganda out there. Absolutely. J. Thomas Reset, Oz or Kamala. 9mm. That would be my solution. No, that's neither. No way. I mean, when they say the lesser of two evils, there isn't one there. Who is it? Pamela Fury. If it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Yeah, no kidding. Nomad Prepper. Do not vote for anyone who doesn't support our Second Amendment in our Constitution. 100%. I mean, when I talked about it maybe about a week or so ago, and then I did a poll on it about a month ago, just to see what you guys all thought. And the majority of all of us, you guys and me, identify as either a constitutionalist or a libertarian, all right? Which is pretty much what I figured we would be. But just kind of wanted to see so I could use that information to make sure I was doing the right thing. But yeah, it kills me when I see these politicians say, oh, well, I believe in this. But you voted this way, this way, this way. The 4 times you voted well, that was because of something else. No, that's called selling out. Okay. I don't care if they say they're going to ban abortions, if they also say they're going to ban the Second Amendment. If they say bolt in there, you're a no. Okay. You don't get what you want by giving up something else. You're supposed to represent us, the constituents, not trading off our rights. I had to stop and see this one. Angry Wreck-It Ralph. I began my military career in 1985 under President Reagan. Me too. Retired in 2010 under Obama. My apologies, my condolences. It sickens me to see what's happening to our country these days under the fraud we have now. You and me both. Stanley Gray, how are they going to get China to make everything mil spec? Well, they can't. That's why they're talking about U.S. manufacturers. And then if you tie that into what Janet Yellen said today, what I was talking about at the top, is that globalism, conceding defeat, that globalism is dead, that we need to bring back manufacturing to the U.S. Again, start putting puzzle pieces together. Yellen saying we need to bring everything back to the U.S. Other parts of the government saying that, domestic manufacturers must be mil spec. You get little pieces. Nobody's going to tell you the whole story, but if you put the little pieces together, all of a sudden it makes a lot of sense. So not worried about China making stuff mil spec because we're not going to be getting that sort of stuff from China. Okay, if you get your Barbie dolls from China, who cares? They're not going to be mil spec Barbie dolls. All right. But, boots or coats or whatever would be, where it's something very simple. Like I said, with Levi's, you just got to change the dye in the machine and you're okay. That's fine. It's not like you've got to change the entire pattern to everything. When you go and start seeing, go buy your jeans and all of a sudden they start having cargo pockets on them, then you know what happened. Okay. Pay attention to stuff like that and start looking, not tomorrow, but say next summer, if this is what happens, start looking at things going, okay, how similar is this to something, the troops would wear or the troops would buy? If all of a sudden we start having, wide belts come back for guys or the big fashion trend is combat boots again, pay attention to that sort of stuff. I'm not too bad. North Shore says halfway point. I'm only 11 minutes behind. I'm keeping up. Okay. Let's see. Usually I'm way behind. Katrina Walker, Pinball, what is your top favorite Mrs. P recipes? Just curious. Absolute favorite 100% is the cream of chicken soup that we've made for you guys. And a bunch of you guys have tried that. That is absolutely my favorite, no doubt, hands down. Her stroganoff is up there. That one you guys have got the recipe for. And her pelmeni is the third one. And that one we will be doing, like I said, when my daughter comes in, because that takes about 4 hours for us to make enough pelmeni. But that is really good. But we'll show you that one so you guys know what it is. Constantine knows what pelmeni is. Maybe a few of the rest of you do. But, it's another meal. Like I said, they're little meat dumplings. But it's another way where you can really stretch your food, when all of a sudden, a pound of meat is enough to feed 4 people, no problem. And everybody walks away from the table full. That's a good way to stretch food. Larac McGee, do you think we should allow the Democrats their one-time filibuster for the debt ceiling? Well, you knew Mitch McConnell was going to cave. Okay, and how it was going to do it. Now, I haven't got into too many of the details on it because, it hasn't even been passed yet. But yes, to answer your question, yes, because otherwise the government shuts down and then people wind up, out of work, no paychecks, whatever would be. I don't think Social Security doesn't come into play, but Social Security can be delayed, but none of the entitlement programs get paid or anything. So there still are obligations. With everything going on in the world, I do not want to see the military all of a sudden be put on stand down. But how they've got to come up with a solution. This is the thing. I mean, we can't raise the debt ceiling to go, hey, cool, let's have another $5 trillion in spending. No, they've got to rein in the spending somehow. The thing is that's what McConnell has to do is say, okay, if you're going to raise the debt ceiling, how are we going to stop from growing the debt anymore? I mean, all we're doing is creating more and more inflation by doing this because you know damn well as soon as they raise the debt ceiling, the Democrats go, cool, honey, we got more money. You know, it's like one of those things. Well, you know what? We're 2 months behind in our mortgage and the car is about to be repoed, but we're getting our income tax check refund next week. Honey, want to go on vacation? I mean, that's the mentality that the Democrats use when it comes to money. George Ball, evening guys. I mixed up 2 jugs of your wine recipe. Hope it's ready end of next month. 3 to 4 weeks. Yeah, it should be. You should be ready. Yeah, you won't be ready for New Year's, but you'll be ready. You'll be ready for Super Bowl for sure. If you're even still watching the NFL, because I haven't seen a game in 3 years. And we're gonna shoot to the bottom again. Back up we go. Okay. Drops Family Garden says SCOTUS already decided whether it was a tax or not. Well, that's what I'm saying with Obamacare. Yeah, they did. That's my point is they're going to say the next thing that'll be Biden's next thing is we're going to tax you if you haven't got this thing, and that'll go up to the Supreme Court, and then they'll have to decide whether it's a tax or a penalty again, and we'll go through the same thing. That somebody asked me what my guess is. That's about the only bullet he's got left in the gun. Sweet savory words. Pinball. He's gonna pack the Supreme Court to get all his crap through. Well, he doesn't have the authority to do it. That's got to be done by Congress. Okay, and we pretty much know that Congress is flipping next year. There's practically no doubt about that. And if the Democrats try to pack the Supreme Court right now, it would just by the time getting people through committee and everything like that, chances are it wouldn't happen. Okay, they still have time if they wanted to try it now, but that's when you just kiss every election goodbye because there's a bunch of Democrats who don't believe in it either. All right, so I really don't see it happening. It's great to talk about. It's great to get on the morning news show or whatever, or Sunday morning news, and say, oh yeah, let's talk about packing the court and everything. But no, I don't see it happening. It's political suicide. Daily Prepper, politics is the new religion. It sure seems to be. For those of you in Pennsylvania, my favorite American beer. Thought I'd have a real one tonight. John Kelly, the one thing Biden's good at, milk and cookies. As long as you don't put him in charge of passing them out to all the kids. If it's just sit there at his little chair and eat them, maybe he could do it, but make sure you got his bib so he can sweep all the crumbs off his chest and, the milk out of his lap. Let's go Liberty Lou. I value all the intel and info you share. God bless you and yours. Thank you very much. I appreciate that very much. I try to do my best. One Yankee says they're all no damn good, both parties. There are a few good ones, but for the most part, I will agree with you. There's probably 10 people in Congress that, if I had my druthers run almost every single one of them out, if there was any way, y'all know I'm a firm believer in term limits, okay? But if there was any simple way to get rid of everybody in the Senate, most everybody in Congress, I'd be all for it. But y'all know as well as I do that they have the DCCC and the RCCC that their whole job is to get the people that are there reelected. So anybody that runs against an incumbent is runs into a brick wall money wise, because you'll just get slaughtered in the get out the vote and advertising or whatever it is. Uh, you know, it's that's why most of the time these people are there for life until they decide to retire. And when you have somebody lose, an incumbent lose, it's like, oh my God, how did that happen? Either they've totally pissed off the party, i.e., Liz Cheney, or Claire McCaskill or somebody like that before they lose, uh, or they've got to retire or move on to another position. Uh, Purring Lady, China imprisons their own citizens in re-education through labor camps. Why isn't the USA boycotting the 2022 Winter Olympics? Okay, so I get a kick out of the boycott that we're doing. It's a political boycott that, we're not sending any political delegation. The Bidens aren't going to Beijing or anything like that. And China was right. It was like, Joe, you weren't invited anyway, so not a big deal. I don't care. I told you guys, I think it was Saturday night, why I don't care about the Olympics anymore, because you can't watch. It's not there for sport. It's there for wokeness. Like this guy girl who's breaking all NCAA swimming records or whatever it is now, or you had that New Zealand bodybuilder who was man to woman, however it would be. I mean that it's not sport anymore. And then when you get, like I said, every Katie Couric fluff piece for 25 minutes and then 2 minutes of the event, who cares to watch it? But why aren't we boycotting the Olympics? I feel bad for all the athletes who have legitimately worked, for the most part, their whole life for this one moment. And for somebody to take it away from them, because, and I'm not agreeing with what China's doing by any means, don't get me wrong, but, you know, one doesn't have anything to do with the other. It's just a way to kind of throw egg in somebody's face. Go, well, you got the Olympics, and we're gonna, it's childish playground bullshit. All right, you want to do something about it? Oh, I don't know. Instead of prohibiting athletes from going to the Olympics, why don't you just prohibit any product from being shipped from China to the United States? That would be a little bit more appropriate. Oh no, we can't do that. That would put Walmart out of business. But we can go screw over some, 16-year-old girl who's been practicing figure skating since she was 3, and 13 years of 8 hours a day doing this. That's okay. Again, I understand where you're coming from. I just don't think this boycotting the Olympics is the right avenue to take. But like I said, again, I really don't care about the Olympics because I'd want to see the sport. I'd love to watch the hockey games. I'd love to watch the figure skating. Those are the two things that I enjoy, and the slalom and the skiing. And I don't ski, but I enjoy watching the athletes do this sort of stuff. Most of the rest of the stuff I don't care about. But Amy, thank you for the super chat, and the kolache recipe. Yes, I will be filming that. Don't worry about that. Yeah, I don't see any reason to take away from the kids who've worked so hard for this. Cheryl Bishop, God bless, from Christmas Valley, Oregon. Pretty name. I just hope you're far east enough. David Williams, politicians only believe in their pockets lined with cash. That's it. I 100% agree with that. They care less about their constituency, unless, of course, the constituency is there handing a check. And then all of a sudden they'll listen to you. Moldy Soldier, you want a mil spec Barbie? There we go. Great. Uh, Joe G, I'm glad I saw this coming down the pike years ago. Prep to the rafters. Good, and a lot of us are. That's the thing. Now it's kind of tweaking, adding whatever. I mean, I really feel for these people who are just waking up now, going, "Gee, we have a problem," because it's like the stock market. You're buying at the top. When all of us were buying cans of Campbell's soup for 59 cents a can, you're buying it for $2 a can, whatever it is, you know, getting your gardens growing or buying tools or learning skills, you're way behind. But I will say this, I'd rather have you start today than start tomorrow. It's never too late. It's just going to be more expensive for you to do it, and you've got obviously a lot less time. I mean, there's people that have been prepping since the 70s. They're much, I hope they don't have the same food, but, they're in better shape than, say, I am or whatever it is, where you get the guys that are completely off grid on homesteads and stuff like that and totally set up. Hey, I'm not there. I'll never be there. It's not my goal to get there. Everybody, it's different for everybody. But Johnny Finance, Amarova withdrew her nomination from office. I talked about that at the top. She actually, to save face, they're saying that's what happened, but no, actually, her nomination was revoked. But they're allowing her to say she withdrew her nomination. South Colorado Stetter, the metal on our nuke subs wasn't up to military spec. Lady who had contract fudged the specs. Yeah, I guess for something like 30 years, that came out with the sub accident here a couple of months back or whatever it was, that she was just signing off on whatever. Just, the amount of money that's spent on a nuclear submarine. And I mean, there aren't little accidents with the submarine. One accident, chances are the entire crew's dead. I mean, look at the Kursk or something like this. Okay, obviously that's Russian, but gee, you're underwater. One little hole and it's over. Okay, go slightly too deep. If the depth meter doesn't work or whatever it is, you go a little bit, collapse. You know, who cares? It looks like metal to me. I mean, this is a woman that belongs in jail. South Colorado Stetter, pinball. What was the very first prep I bought? I honestly, I couldn't tell you, because the very first thing you do is start to see what you already have before you start going what you need. I mean, could I say a truck? Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know how to answer it. Inside Constantine. Oh, yes, I do. Stretches food and it's delicious. Talking about Palmini, yes. Yeah, Palmini's actually a treat for us here because we buy it at the store. It's just not that good. But when we make it at home, it's really good. But like I said, it just, to make the dough and to make everything and put it all together, it takes about 4 hours. But it's worth it. And 15 minutes to eat and you're done. Jim Rupp, will mil-spec move us closer to socialism? No, I don't think so. I just think it's moving us. What my fear is, it moves us closer to the government moving us closer to a wartime economy, wartime scenario, being more prepared for being at war. I don't think it moves us towards socialism at all. Life Force Unleashed, I believe it's too late. They're spending like it's the end. Yeah, and this is true. And I think that's why there's so many of these people that want globalism. They want CBDC because, hey, we'll just blow it all up and start over again. And that's great for them, that they have no responsibility for the waste of money that they've done for decades, or whatever would be. I mean, even, Bob Dole died the other day. Okay. He's responsible for this too. He's dead. He's not going to make a difference. But, and then there's some guys that are coming in now that are trying to pick up the pieces from beforehand. It's not just these particular people. The problem is they're not the ones that suffer. Anybody that's been a city employee, a government employee, or whatever has a pension plan. Poof, that blows up. Gee, I don't know. You got your 401k plan. Well, we got to blow up the stock market. Poof, all that money that you saved all those years and you thought your golden years are going to be fine. Poof, that's gone. That's the problem. They'll be fine. We won't. Coral Tigger, Pinball, have you seen this earthquake swarm in Oregon? 7 earthquakes since 4 o'clock, 5 of them about 5.0. No, I have not. I haven't seen anything about it. Stay safe out there. I know I'll look at it this evening, but no, I don't know anything about it. All right. But that is all, guys. 9 o'clock. I know Jason's on, or 5 o'clock in the morning now in Moscow. Thank everybody for being here. I believe Jason's on at 9 o'clock this evening. So y'all have a good evening. We will see y'all in the morning. Pinball out.